What's up, crabs? So, Battle Cats is a extremely confusing game, and even more confusing when it comes to lore. But today, I'm going to be breaking down the entire lore of the Battle Cats, from Empire of Cats all the way to Zero Legends. So, let's have a fun time with this. But before we begin, I am so excited to announce that I have just launched memberships. I thought for a long time on how to make these memberships a really good deal for you and make it worth your money. So if you have spare money and want to spend it, please consider purchasing a membership. A lot of the money will go directly back to the channel so I can produce even better videos. Without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, we have the Empire of Cats, where it all started. In the beginning, there were a lot of world problems, lots of threats all competing with each other for world domination. But then a new threat appears, the cats. The cats are led by the charismatic cat god. So they begin to conquer country after country, defeating all of the forces that stand in their way. They destroyed the elephants, the faces, Teacher Bun Bun. So many threats. In the end, though, they conquered the entire world. But that was just the beginning. The cat god had many more plans for them to absolutely unleash the true might of the cats upon everything. Next up, we have the second main story saga, Into the Future. It begins right after the cats used the time machine they acquired from Empire of Cats to transport them to the year 29 something, where aliens have conquered Earth. The cats just begin fighting through all of the threats that they provide, including some new threats like Great Abyss and Floating Continent, where we can see there's a lot of new enemies to reconquer the world. At the end of the story, we awaken Bahamut Cat by defeating his alien-possessed form. In the end, the saga ends with the cat army deciding to build a rocket to venture into space to conquer even more things, which is where Cats of the Cosmos begins. It begins with the cats invading the cosmos using the rocket. However, they're in the space, unlike Earth, so their power is enhanced, and they turn into star aliens, which grant them some abilities like barriers and warp. The cats work their way through it, but at the end, they discover that the cat god is actually working with these starred aliens. So they have to kill the cat god. And in the end, the cat god declares that they should move on to the stories of legend. However, before that could happen, Filibuster Obstructa arrives from outside the galaxy, and the cats have to defeat him one last time to win and to deal with the new Stories of Legend. Before Stories of Legend, there's the Aku Realms, which is the final main saga and occurs shortly after Cats of the Cosmos. It begins with the Aku researcher, Empress Cat, who is researching the Aku enemies. She already knows that they're evil, and she knows that they're connected to altars that weaken the cat army's power. With the help of the cat Aku researcher, she actually opens a portal to the Aku realms, but the Aku's power was too much for her, and she becomes the possessed empress. The cats are able to enter the Aku realms, however, they find so many Aku altars that weaken them to basically nothing, which the dark priest Mamon, who wants to resummon the Lord of Destruction, built to prevent any other things from interfering with his master plan. Like I said, he seeks to unleash the god of destruction by undoing the seals that the heroes of legend, which are the cats, placed on him. With the power limited, the cats fight across the Aku realms, destroying altar after altar, eventually reaching Mount Aku, where Dark Priest Mamon attacks them for the first time, and the cats have to face them with half their strength. The cats prevail in the end, and Mamon has to retreat. So he flees off with the crystal that he wants, the crystal that can awaken the god of destruction, and he flees off to the moon. They finish destroying the rest of the altars with much struggle, cough cough, Mexico, and then they faced Mamon on the moon. It was a challenging battle, but eventually they are able to destroy him, and they thought they won, but the orb was able to unleash the Lord of Destruction, Gigando. So after facing a tense battle with him, they end up triumphing. This results in the Aqua Altars being permanently deactivated, which allows them to venture into areas like the late Uncanny Legends without being weakened. Now here's where things get very confusing and very weird. You know that time machine the cats obtained? Well, they can go back in time somehow. So they went back in time 20 years to before the cat god was born to start conquering the stories of legend, where all they want to do is collect cat food, but then they end up recruiting 5 powerful legend units to join their army, who resemble the heroes of legend that the cat god mentioned. After the cats accomplish the goals, they travel back to the present. However, after emerging from the time machine, they find themselves in an unfamiliar place, and that is Uncanny Legends. Turns out, they went even further in time, back to the Uncanny Legends, where things are uncanny, and now they're facing off against the ancients of the Legend Cat's ancestors. The very ancestors. Instead of Uranwolf, there's Ursus and Fener. They're all just ancestors. They realize they need a lot of help to do this, so they go back to Stories of Legend to recruit ID-Re, the mysterious life form floating in the Laboratory of Relics. This being is immensely powerful, but in the end, they prevail and recruit her help for Uncanny Legends. That they begin conquering the Uncanny Legends, defeating all of the very powerful relic enemies. Throughout their journeys, they end up re-encountering the Akus, and they encounter the real ultimate super weapon, which may refer to Zero Luza, the guardian of the sacred tree, which is the root to all of humanity. Eventually, he is defeated, destroying all of humanity, and a god emerges from the trees and tells the cats to find a sage in a completely different world, and draws a can of cat food in the sky. With that, the cats venture into a new world. Zero Legends is a strange dimension where everything just looks really bizarre and nobody knows what exactly is going on. In the first subchapter, they fight the first reincarnation of a unit, Metafilibuster, which is the start of the Big Bang and the creator of the Big Bang, who threatens to destroy the cats. However, they prevail. However, they do realize they need help. So they go back through Uncanny Legends, recruiting the help of a sage researcher who lost her soul trying to research about the sages and turned into a tree called Dr. Nova. In the end, they keep conquering all the way up to the present. So, that's the story of the Battle Cats. What do you think? I mean, this is as best of a story as I could put together. So what do you think? Do you think this is right or even remotely close? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, have a good day. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and consider checking out my memberships. Have a nice day. Bye.